Hi there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to TGIF Talks, episode 143. I'm your host, Dr. Sheep, joined by the one, the only, the Ronald Buck. Now,
Hi.
hello. He is back. Let's share screen, run the intro. Which one's the intro? This one. Go live. Intro, full screen. Well. Hasn't been too long since we've had you.
No. But there's been a lot that's gone on.
That is
since
certainly for sure. Well, where and what do you want to start with?
I don't know. You're the guy who hosts this, so you tell me.
Oh, that's true. Well, okay, so my question is, how long did it actually take the computer shop to fix your computer? Because, I mean, I know you went and then installed a new motherboard and new CPU and new all that crap.
Well, I'm pretty sure in the end it was about a 2-week process. The only problem that we ran into was we had to wait for the processor for like 2 or 3 days extra or something instead with shipping. I was waiting on that. But when your computer houses all of your videos, your mod profiles, all of the models, every game that's installed, and basically anything you've put on there since the dawn of time, cloning that from a drive to a drive, and then moving that back to another drive, and then checking if everything checked on that drive, took quite a bit longer than they thought. So I called them on, I was waiting 3 days for just a phone call to say you're done. And I literally called them twice, and then I showed up the night before I went and picked it up the next day. And I was like, well, I was just checking. They said it might be either done today or possibly if I don't hear back tomorrow. So I literally drove up to Papillion 40 minutes and went in and walked, said, hey, is my computer done? No, we're checking things through the night. It's running one last check. We'll have it done by tomorrow morning. There goes an hour and 20 minutes round trip of gas.
No kidding. Jesus Christ. They could have called you and said, hey, it's going to be there tonight.
But it was kind of one of those, no news is slightly good news, because that means at least they're still working on it. I'd still trust these guys with that computer to save my life, just for the fact that, I got 2 people raises working on this thing for some of the problems it's had. But that was, when I bought it or when I got it, certain things I didn't check. I put in brand new memory because I was figuring when I got the computer originally, it had 8 or 16 gigs of RAM, and then I realized that one of the sticks wasn't pushed in all the way, so I was only getting half. My streams would keep crashing. So I'm like, well, that's not good. But I put in new stuff, and they clocked it all. The sticks that I have in there now are finally actually running at the speed that they were said to go. Instead of running on dial-up, and I could literally go and make 3 sandwiches in the time that it took for my computer to restart, now it's it restarts and I can't even get up out of the chair and it's already ready to go again. So, that has been a plus.
Yeah, memory train takes forever. Mine can restart relatively fast. Kind of depends on the situation. Sometimes it'll restart in no time at all. Other times it'll take a sweet minute. So, did you have to pay for a new Windows copy? I'm assuming not.
Yes.
You did?
Yes. Because of the fact when I originally had it, it's because I guarantee you if I did not have my main primary storage moved to a new M.2 drive, I probably wouldn't have needed to do it. But I told them, hey, if I'm going to do this, I want to prep it for the future, so that way I don't have to worry about anything. I'll have an extra bit of storage. The running rate of everything will just be a little bit quicker. I'm just let's put it on there. I got it home. I had to sift through the, I can't remember what it's called, something key, the registry, whatever it was. editor registry editor or something. I can't remember, but either way, it was something in the computer that where you can look in like a weird menu BIOS, kind of like Task Manager, and it showed your key for the Windows license. And I went to type that in because mine was a 10 license Pro, because that's what came with this computer originally. And it said that that copy can't be valid, but that's because of the fact it never necessarily got deactivated or moved to a new device. It was on a different set of storage.
Oh, that's why you had to get a new Windows thing. You have to. So I've been Googling this because I thought in the future if I want to upgrade to a 2 terabyte boot drive, I'm like, what am I going to need to do to make sure I don't have to buy a Windows 11 license, a new Windows 11 license, because that's expensive.
They said if you have 11, that you don't need to worry about that. Like, as long as you have like some way to validate it, whether it's through information or like that, like if you have your original key, whether it's not on the same drive or not, you should be able to put it on that one.
So I don't have the key.
I've been told with 11.
I may have, or may not have, how do I put this? Acquired it through means upon which you are not supposed to acquire keys.
Ah, so you must have gotten it from Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
Okay, very nice.
So my key, yeah, it is a verified Windows copy, but I do not know where said key is.
Well, that's what I was saying. You can go into that. I think it's registry editor. There's a way you can actually look it up on the computer itself instead of like having to go into the BIOS and all that stuff when you press the F2. It's like a task manager reference, but it'll show you the key. You can type it in. You can do whatever. All I know is that now my computer's still on Windows 10. I just decided to keep it on that since it worked. It doesn't need to be doing it. But now the computer itself with the motherboard, all the different components, it can just upgrade to 11. My previous one couldn't do that. So I gained 2 big ones on that, plus the storage, plus the speed. I mean, I haven't seen like a tremendous like boost in my export speed or my game playing being different. I mean, I could tell it's running smoother. The biggest things that I see are just kind of like the little stuff in the background that are working a bit faster. So it works out. I especially now like the fact that I have built-in Wi-Fi, because I used to have one of those little sticks that stuck into the USB ports, and that technically took up 2 USB ports because it was a pretty wide dongle after the plug-in part. Well, now there's 2 spots open on there if I wanted to plug something in.
Why didn't you just put a card in?
Well, I did. Now it has the built-in Wi-Fi, so it's got a little shark fin.
But why didn't you? But instead of using a USB stick, why didn't you buy a PCI card?
Because I didn't know those things existed.
Ah, okay.
I got to remember, buddy. I'm just smart enough to get by with computers. I don't know when you start tearing them apart.
Oh, that's
you make me go. If you were to have me go into BIOS and tell you what any of that stuff says, it looked like I'm a kid that's sitting in a 4th year of a Russian class.
I couldn't do BIOS, but no, I have a Wi-Fi card, actually. I don't use it anymore because I'm all wired. But it's there.
I still run Ethernet for the internet stuff. I run an Ethernet for my like upload or streaming internet. The other two are still wireless, but I keep the modem behind the 2 monitors for mine.
Oh, that's right. You have so many different internets. God.
Which, that also I had a huge bump in because I contacted them over last weekend due to a payment issue thing. In essence, the one lady I was on the phone with, because when they ran through the card, I've been trying to allocate my funds accordingly where they're kind of supposed to go until I start getting my paychecks back. And apparently it's like when they went to draw for that one, it was like the bills, I think the bill usually is like 74 or something. And I think that account at the time had like 55 or 60 or something in there. I just didn't watch it. So they sent the email, said, hey, blank, blank, we need this thing to be done. So I called them, and the one lady on the phone, she's like, the amount of data you have for the amount you're paying is absurd. Like, why do you have that plan? Like, I don't know. I pay you. You tell me what's going on here. She ended up telling me that they're like, well, that plan that you have is like so far outdated, because when we originally got that internet, it was like right when US Cellular came out with the hotspot modems.
Right.
So they gave you, but the plan was 55 gigabytes a month for like $74. Just limited data, but it's high speed, runs off their towers. She was like, you could literally update if you're available. Like if your account or this thing is able to, you could literally upgrade to almost 600 to 700 gigabyte plan a month for 60. Literally 11 times the amount of data for $15 less.
So you signed up.
I said, check that sucker if that thing's good. She goes, yes, come back. You don't even need to do anything. As of September, like your bill will represent what you're paying for in September. But as of right now, I have a 600 gigabyte plan. So I can literally stream for 24 hours a day for like the next 5 to 7 days in a row. And I would probably not even make a dent. If I wanted to, but that's an option now. If I wanted to do a lot more streaming or a lot more uploading, I could use that internet to do it. Or if I like take it on road trips, I take the modem with me because you can plug it into the wall anywhere and it reads off the towers. Saves time and money. If I'm paying for it, I might as well use some of it.
Absolutely. Man, now you're really good. Now you're gonna be swimming in
Enough content. I'm still trying to kick myself back into gear, and yesterday was a rough opening, I tell you what. When I found out that sucker was recorded in the wrong format, I about put my fist right through that monitor. I wanted to cry.
I've recorded a podcast before where there was just no audio, and I had to quickly find somebody who can do a podcast with me for that week so that I can get it recorded and uploaded before the end of the week. You know, it's not like you where, you know, you make money, but for me, it's like I just like to make sure everything's going up at the right times. And it's just like, holy crap, I would rather not miss a podcast this week for stupid reasons. So
No, but now, especially with this, like, because I also ended up readjusting the deal that I had with Boss Man Grant, wherever it was. With our deal that we had on the side, I technically used to get paid a salary, more or less. Now I work hourly.
Oh.
It's just for the sake of the amount of time that I was gone with this, plus what I'm trying to move towards, the amount of money he has me on for a deal versus what I make on my own thing, I'm trying to switch those, where I'm still making profit for basically showing up like Tom Cruise to the movie set. You're still a valuable part of the scene. You're still doing that. You're still getting your, in essence, royalties on that. But I'm trying to build this bad boy myself so it can take over, but it's still taking that and making it work. It's going to take time, but now instead of being strapped to this is how much blank a year, you got to show up. If you're not going to do that, I ain't going to pay you that. Well, fine, then let's switch to hourly. If I can't record on Tuesday, I'm not going to be there. Like, can't really do much because you're not paying me for that.
Right.
I take a loss, but I think in the end, just for the sake of business, it was a smart investment move to start going into that.
Right.
So I can move forward, more or less. Right. This whole epiphany of how this thing went down and now it's coming back, I definitely feel it needed to happen because you really are as strong as the weakest link. And the fact that I had everything that this has been built on in the last 5 years stripped away in about an hour and 10 minutes, literally just gone. Yeah, there was some stuff that needed to be addressed, looked at, rearranged, and I would never wish that one upon anybody. Holy cow, that was bad.
Yeah, well, you know, I watched Linus Tech Tips video when it happened to him, and he's just like, you know, the past 10 years of his life just gone. And he's got 100 people relying on him, and now it's like, holy crap, he can't pay them, he can't do anything.
Yep.
Luckily, you know, he's big enough, he's got YouTube reps, and, you know, he knows how to, and he's tech, so he can clean the computer himself, but, you know, there's small YouTubers like you that this happens to.
Honestly, it does, but I will say this much, the level of ease it actually was, like, I still kind of don't really know what I did to get a hold of the right people in the right manner, but as panicked as I was, it was actually super simple once I got to the Twitter part, because Twitter was the way I was supposed to contact them. Once I figured that out, things were sailing along pretty quickly to get the channel back. If I wouldn't have got a hold of YouTube via Twitter, I'd probably still be trying to fight for the channel to get it back. Because the rule is, not necessarily even bless their hearts, talking to YouTube is the golden ticket to getting anything back. Talking to Google is useless.
Right.
They're as useless as a box of rocks. Now, the
Right.
one guy I actually did get a hold of from YouTube, from Google, he tried to help. I give him that. He actually gave me some good advice, but the problem was that because they didn't have, it's like I didn't have access to that email at the point besides the computer, which at that point was up in Papillion. It's like anything that he was telling me, it wouldn't have helped anyway. I still don't know what YouTube pulled to get my email back. 'Cause, I mean, I was locked out, recovery keys. Somehow it was like a security key that you make a physical copy because they like clone the computer. I mean, I was locked out. There was no way of getting this thing back. And then YouTube just sends me once I send them a video that it's like, this is what happened. Like, I'm locked out completely. Like, there's no way of getting this back. I get an email sent to my new one that I made that goes, oh yeah, you want to change the password to this email? Just click on this and you can do that. Just send me a link. And I got my email back. Changed passwords, locked my own self out, made new backup codes. I mean, I have that thing locked up like Fort Knox. My the contact email for the channel now is completely different. It's completely separate from the channel itself. Then just for all of my own primary stuff, so like PayPal, Twitter, any of those are all under the new other primary email, which that's also locked up like Fort Knox. The only one that this technically has tethered to it anymore, the primary, my CJ one that I usually always use, that's used by this. And 90% of the accounts that I had that were just like, Staples is sending you some promotional thing that you could care less about, but that's the email that they had on the account. So other than basically YouTube and Google stuff alone, this email now is only a solo act on this channel.
Right.
I have everything else separated, and they're all three locked down. Nothing gets in between those.
Oh, good. Good. A learning opportunity.
It truly was.
So what did you do during this whole process? Like, you know, while your computer's getting cleaned and why are you waiting for YouTube to get back to you? What do you do?
I was trying to figure that one out myself. For the first few nights, it was storming up and down the hallways, going, why do I even exist? And basically having my entire identity stripped from me. Because the other problem was that being a jack of all trades is an absolute blessing for the fact that it's like I'm not great at anything, but it's like I know just enough, or I can get away with just enough knowledge and just enough experience and just enough you could do this to do things. But I've never ever really had like a set, I'm good at this, so I can go and do this for money. Like, I can't go do a 9 to 5. I don't have the ability to say I have multiple investments that I can live off. I mean, I had everything taken away from me.
Right.
So it was literally me just trying to find out who the hell this was without this.
Right.
I lived under this face for however many years, so I was forced to go out and more or less just find out who the heck I was and why I technically still have a purpose. And once I started getting everything back, it was okay. Enough of wearing the mask. Be the person behind the mask without having to have the mask.
Okay,
so, I mean, I did. I had to find projects to do. I tried working on things. I went to a couple car shows. Once I finally got the channel back enough to bandage it back together until I got the computer to fix the rest. I mean, I was doing the shorts. I was trying to just get out and do things. And then the week after I got all that stuff back, so in between getting the computer and the channel, I broke my red car to a point that it can't drive anymore. I sold my Honda back to my dad 2 days before this because at the end of the month, it's like, okay, so all profits have been cut off. I mean, like for 2-3 weeks, I wasn't making anything.
Right.
And that was, okay, yikes. I got bills coming in multiple parts of the month.
Right.
I was freaking out. So I sold the car back to him for logical reasons of, I mean, sometimes it's a little bit of money, sometimes it's for other ways, it was, I told him if he wanted to buy it back, he could. And then I break the brakes on my other working car.
Did you just replace the brakes?
I did. But the problem is there's a small little elbow, a little plastic elbow that comes from the back of the brake tank, the brake reservoir tank. There's a line that comes in there, and it goes into the back of the brake pump, which the little elbow comes from the pump and then runs the line. that elbow was broken because on my original car, when I'm on my car and then I have the parts car, the parts car is 200,000 less miles.
Right.
So parts in there are going to be a little bit less worn and torn. The part that I needed off of them shared that same little elbow. When I went to take it off of my original car, it snapped in two. It's 30-year-old plastic from General Motors. It's garbage. It's gonna snap. So I'm like, okay, be careful with it. We'll grab the other one. We'll grab the part we need. We'll get the elbow. We'll be fine. Nope, both of them snap in half.
Oh boy.
This system is called the TGIF system. It was only made for, I think, like 5 or 6 years to my knowledge. They put it in. It came from Germany. It's a German brake system. It's got electronic anti-lock brakes. Basically, it was a piece of crap. They went right back to the old brake system. Like, if you were to go to a Pull-It yard, a Copart, a U-Pull-It, any of those, you cannot find this brake system in any car. It has basically the same components as a majority of other vehicles, but the system itself, no. You're spending at least $2-3 grand possibly to get one of those in pristine condition.
So what are you going to do then?
Originally, what I did when I snapped the two was I took one part from one and one part from the other that were in good enough shape, filed them down so they were smooth, plastic welded that together, and then I JB welded around that. So, I mean, this thing was like concreted like Fort Knox. Like, nothing was getting inside of that thing. And it cured for like 2 days before I even put it in beforehand. This was like a few months ago. Yeah, the JB weld cracked off. Like, it melted and cracked off. So when I went in there, I saw my brake light was on, but I didn't think anything of it because I just fixed the coil. So I'm like, something's just, the computer's just having a field day. And when I went back and looked under the car, there was a massive puddle of fluid underneath of it. And then I went back and looked at it, and it was just all wet, and I touched that line. Literally, it just snapped off. So I was this close to not having brakes at all for my car. Like, I would have literally died coming home from Branched Oak because my brakes were just that brittle.
Jeez.
So I have a guy that I bought the parts car in Buffalo. He says he has one of those little elbows sitting in its little bag up at his house, but he's currently right now either on vacation or buying another car over in California because he parts these things out. So whether he has that or not, he says he'll sell that to me once he gets back home. But other than that, the only other thing I could technically do is just have someone 3D print one.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wonder if you could 3D print a bunch of them and then just, when those break because it's just PLA, and just replace it.
I might actually have to do that, and you probably would know more people that actually do that than me.
I know one person that 3D prints, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if he would know how to build a model like that. I haven't talked to him in years.
I know I have a handful of people that I could, well, not a handful, but I at least have connections to people that would know how to get that done, but you'd also have to use some high heat plastic because, of course, if it's sitting in an engine bay that's running at 220 degrees Fahrenheit for Lord knows how long, it's got to be durable.
Yeah, like I said, PLA is probably not going to work. I'm sure there are ones. Does it have to be plastic?
No. Literally, as long as it is the exact same dimensions, it doesn't matter what it is. It just can't melt.
I say we take a trip to Menards and we manufacture something out of a piece of aluminum.
Joke's on you. You could technically do that, but there's a specific fitting area on the back side of the plastic that plugs into the brake pump that has an O-ring on it. You'd have to literally lathe the thing.
Yeah, I don't have that yet. I wish. I want. That is, so if I get ever be a big YouTuber, I want to have a whole workshop. I want to lathe. I want to mill. I want to CNC. I want to do all these things, so we can build all kinds of crap.
It'd be fun. We need to get ourselves a complex.
A complex. That's what I said. I want to build a complex out west.
You're just going to be Whistling Diesel with his massive 50-acre complex or something?
Pretty much. Oh, I want to buy...
I'd want to do.
Huh?
It's about what I'd want to do. At least maybe not, put a helicopter inside of it and turn it on. As cool as that was, like, bro.
I still haven't watched the helicopter video. I need to watch it.
How do you even explain that to the insurance company? What happened to your car? Why is it, like, damaged? It was hit by a helicopter in a shop with a bunch of people that were probably drunk.
Yeah.
How do you explain that to the insurance company?
You don't. You just buy a new car.
You hit a '69 Charger with what?
I've dreamt about it. What I want to do is I want to go out west, and I want to buy a whole mile by mile square, because out west, out in the Sandals, you can buy that for what it would take to probably buy,
Square foot yardage in Lincoln.
Yeah. So I was just like, well, you buy that. You buy it in a. I want to buy it in a valley, so it'd cost us a bit more than it normally would, because you're not buying the hills, you're buying the area between the hills, because you want it to be somewhat level. And I just want to build. I want to build a mile-long drag strip, and actually, mile-long drag strip for just purposes. I want a hangar.
Offit's gonna be contacting you soon.
I want a hangar for activities, and then obviously a shop. I want to build a tower to A, drop things from, and then B, we're out west.
You want to be like the trampoline guys.
Well, hey, something about dropping heavy objects from high heights. High kinetic energy kill vehicles.
So you're telling me you basically want to combine like 4 different channels into one, with that one specific structure being the slow-mo guys, the dropping things off the tower guys on the trampoline, whistling diesel, and basically Top Gear with the runway.
So Mr. Beast. Except science-based. Pretty much, like his video. Did you see his latest video where he drove that train to a pit?
No.
He drove a train to a pit.
I saw the yacht one, but I did not see a train one.
This one came after that. He drove a train to a pit. He blew up a bunch of money. But the point is, literally blew up a bunch of money.
That's fun. That's always fun. I like blowing up money.
Exactly. Now I'm like, he's doing the kind of stuff that, but I would do it for science. Yeah, I need a car that goes, I need a car to break the sound barrier. Why? Don't ask questions.
Well, then I can help you with that. We'll just take my parts car Oldsmobile, shove a Mach 1 engine from a jet in it, and then we'll just send it down the road, because I have no use for it at that point.
I was thinking we get it's easier just to make rockets.
So we strap the rocket to my parts car and we just blow it up.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna do the implosion test on my 1990 parts car Oldsmobile.
That'd be the most just at the end of the runway, right? At the end of the property, there's just a giant mound of dirt. So it's not quite a mile, because I can't build a giant mound of dirt and concrete on somebody else's property. So I said I think I'd have to buy a bit bigger than a mile by mile, but it'd be a straight flat mile.
No. That's why you buy the mile, and then you build it at a diagonal.
It should still be a mile.
Exactly, but instead of it being a mile straight across to this, you build it across, so you got a little bit more room.
Yeah, the diagonal. I need a calculator.
I don't, because I'm not going to be the one who finds it out.
Here, I have a calculator. Let's do the math here. Trigonometry. Ooh. Oh, okay. So, all right, folks. This is where I do well. So, let's recite the Pythagorean theorem. The square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the adjoining sides. There you go. So, we want this in feet probably, because doing this in miles doesn't do any good, because 1 squared plus 1 squared is 2. It's just 2. And the square root of 2, what is the square root of 2? Oh, that's not what you want. Clear. So, the length of our hypotenuse is just going to be the square root of 2, which is 1.4 miles. Perfect.
Exactly. You got another, just basically fourth of a mile. No.
Perfect. I also would like to build like a rail system because you know you can build a nice level runway, but like how are you gonna keep your car that's traveling at Mach bejesus from just and hitting our houses on the other side of the hill or the hangar or the giant pool for water tests?
Where the heck did the pool come into play?
I've always had the pool's always been in the plan. You just never let me finish.
Well, wait. Just go ahead. I'm done.
What do you mean
I'm
done?
leaving. I'm done. I'm leaving. Bye.
Oh, come back!
This is over. The podcast is done.
Oh, I mean, we can certainly end it after only 30 minutes. It'd be the shortest podcast you've ever been on.
I'm gonna hit this. I'm just gonna.
He's gonna.
Yeah.
No, that's how the U.S. Army and the military test things that go Mach. They put them on a rail,
Yeah.
and you
Just go Mythbusters. Ooh, which I need to find somebody that can weld me Mythbusters on a big piece of metal. It's like this because I actually have the piece of metal.
I said will. I don't. He'd have to do it at school though. He doesn't have a welder. He has my dad's TIG welder, but that's TIG, MIG, wire, whatever wire is. TIG, isn't it TIG?
Is it the one where he holds the? No, it's not stick welding.
No, it's wire welding.
I can't remember the difference between the two. There's a reason I wasn't a welder, there's a reason I wasn't a mathematician, and there's also a reason that I did not go into anything that involved going to school.
Blah, blah,
I didn't like it. The only reason that I learned how to do math relatively quick is how I rounded up the receipt at the restaurants, so it was an even number. And then a few extra dollars.
Alright. Stick, MIG, TIG. Perfect. Stick welding, shielded mark, MIG welding. Ah, it is MIG.
Say, that's what I was probably going to side more towards, that it was MIG. Because I don't remember what the heck TIG welding was.
TIG's the hard one. But it's the best one. There's actually, don't even mention all the welding. There's 3. There's actually 4 welding now. Laser welding.
Yeah.
But, they don't mention that.
Very true.
There's also consumable electrode, flux coating. Yeah. Well, they don't have everything. They also don't have welding with a torch. Brazing. Pretty much. So, I don't know if that's really welding necessarily, because you're not really bonding the two materials. I think it's probably the worst way, because you're not bonding the two materials very well. And it's like the hardest way to weld besides TIG. But TIG gets the best result.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, regardless. Well, I don't know. He only has a MIG welder. You'd probably want to use stick, because you got to deposit a lot of material to get that. So, I will
Yeah, like I figure. Well, I have because I think Colton said he could possibly do it too.
Colton. Oh,
Mr. Barbell.
oh, I was like,
Colton
what
said
Colton are we talking about?
Colton said he might be able to do it, but he obviously is booked beyond belief by making the Dark Saber and Pirates of the Caribbean swords and other knives and crossbows.
That man. Yeah, good luck with that. You're gonna put yourself on a waiting list probably for 3 years.
When you're as connected with friends as I am,
Well,
I might only have to wait 1 month.
Ooh.
Or 5.
Or 5. Does he know how to weld?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I've seen him weld. I think. I don't know. I watched him
If not, I'll always have him forge the letters on there for me.
I still find the funniest part. So when he was in ag projects back in high school, and this was during one of my free periods, so I didn't have anything to do. So I was out in the shop. I don't remember why I watched him, but I was just there to watch him, I guess. And so he was forging a spoon.
He forged a spoon.
Well, they wouldn't let him make a knife, so he had to forge a spoon. I don't remember if the spoon itself turned into a knife or if he used it as like a handle.
Using mainly spoons, we dig a tunnel under the city and release it into the wild. Spoons.
That's not what the Penguins said, but that is what they did.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of sad you didn't get the Monsters Inc. reference.
Holy crap. Was that really Oh my god, I need to rewatch
It was.
I have not seen that movie in...
Enough years. It can't be older than 2001, so it can't be more than 20.
Well, yeah, obviously. But no, I'm thinking it's been at least half my life.
So 10 years.
Yeah, it's been at least 10 years.
Nice.
At least. The last time I distinctly remember watching it was in daycare.
That is sad. You need to watch
When I was
Inc.
like
again.
in 5th or 4th grade.
You need to watch Monsters Inc. again.